Bryan Lemke here at Through Gamer Goggles, and I'm actually, this is tight space because Arcane Wonders booth is packed. Sheriff is crushing the numbers, I would say, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And we're with Jerome and Bryan. I hope you guys all know Bryan. You guys don't need to know Jerome.
You need to know Jerome. He's the best. Nobody shows the game better than Jerome.
It is really good. So Jerome's going to go over the Sheriff of Nottingham expansion, Merry Men. Go.
All right, guys.
12 seconds.
How you guys doing? I'm going to go over the Sheriff of Nottingham Merry Men expansion real quick for you guys. So what we did is we added a whole lot of different mechanics to almost influence different types of gameplay, right? And what that does is it just opens up new opportunities inside the game for players. And I think it's great. So let me talk to you guys about some of the new mechanics, okay? First thing we got is another player. So you increase the player size from 5 players to 6. Awesome, right? So more of your friends can play. Moving on from there, what we have is we have what's called these deputies, okay? So the deputies are a tandem team. They work together as almost co-sheriffs in the game, all right? And the way it would work is each deputy is almost going to function independently, but also as part of the team when you're talking about the merchants and trying to get into Nottingham. So I'm assuming everyone's familiar with Sheriff of Nottingham. If not, we'll find another video and get you guys up to speed on that.
First.
But whenever you're trying to enter Nottingham, you would declare to these 2 deputies instead of the individual sheriff. At which point, all right, you would take all of these deputies would decide whether or not you're good to enter Nottingham. So if they both decide yes, you're good to come in, you come in as usual. If they both decide no, then what would happen is that they would open your bag, and any of the penalties that they would accrue because you were telling the truth, they would split that between the both of them. If not, and you were telling a lie, then you would be paying the penalties to the sheriff, and that penalty would go here on this booty token, right? That would later be dispersed across both of the deputies after they've resolved all of the merchants, right? So that's awesome. Moving on from the deputies here.
Let me just interject something real quick.
Absolutely.
No problem. We're hoping that these 2 deputies, 2 players, are going to fight and argue and have to barter and wheel and deal with each other, because it'll just add a lot of fun and excitement to the game. We love diplomacy and bartering and bluffing.
Absolutely. And to go back, because I didn't go over the third scenario here, if both of the deputies decide to disagree on whether or not the merchant can get in, then the merchant can deal with the one deputy that's then allowing them to get in, and therefore bribe and bluff as usual to get their way into Nottingham. So both don't necessarily have to be on the same page. And as the game turns out, you might be being a deputy with somebody that you weren't so friendly with earlier on in the game. And that's going to create some interesting kind of dynamics there. So moving away from the deputies, we have what are called special orders. And these cards serve as almost like mission cards within Sheriff of Nottingham. So every time that you're able to complete one of these special orders, in this case it would be bread and mead, if you were able to satisfy these conditions on this card, what would happen at that point is you would actually resolve your way into Nottingham. You would get your contraband and your royal goods, but you would also receive this card, which is worth 5 gold towards your victory at the end of the game. And these will replenish as the game goes on. So it creates all different opportunities for people to play differently. At one point, playing 3 bread is just a little easy. I know people like to play, hey, I'm gonna do 5 chickens, 5 apples. You wanna go big and get the points. Well, these kind of give you a way to offset betting a 3 or betting a 2, because you can get this card which will give you gold on the back end for it. Really, really awesome mechanic. So, transitioning straight from the special orders, you have what we call black market cards. Now these cards are really cool. I love these cards. So these cards, the way they work is that the condition is contingent completely on contraband. So you're gonna get your contraband as usual as you're lying through the game. But if you accrue 3 mead, oh yeah, the gods are talking. You know how that goes, guys. So if you accrue 3 mead, what happens at that point is that you can trade your mead, okay, at the end of the inspection phase for this card, which I don't know if you guys can see, but it's worth 32 gold at the end. That is amazing. Now that only doesn't happen once, it can happen twice, right? But in theory, the same player, if they accrue enough mead, could get both of these in a single turn if he satisfies the condition. So
and
another
the sheriff
really
who
great
let him get through, shame on him.
Shame on that
Hey,
sheriff.
I play with a group where the sheriff doesn't check anything.
He was the sheriff when we got all the meat in. This guy. Okay, so
Try teaching them.
moving forward, for the namesake of the expansion, the Merry Men, we've got merry men and women included in the game. So this works just like a piece of contraband. And the way that these are picked up is that as the sheriff is transitioning from one to the other, you're actually going to draw 2 of these cards and you're going to discard one. If you already have one, you're going to draw one and discard the other. So every player in the game will have one merry man or woman in their hand all the time. So it's always on the table as an option. Now, when you smuggle these guys in, right, you're going to put them in with your royal goods, and provided you get them into Nottingham, you not only get their gold value here towards the end of the game, but you also get the effect down at the bottom of the card. And these are awesome. So this card, Will Scarlet here, the card reads, take 1 card from any player's merchant stand, legal good or contraband, and remove it from the game. So what does that mean? You're competing with me to have the most chickens? I'm gonna take one of those chickens away. You have a whole bunch of contraband. I'm gonna take the contraband away, which may compromise you getting one of the black market cards. All of those kind of options are in there. Really, really good stuff. And I encourage you guys to go out and read about all these different effects because they're really, really cool stuff. The last thing we have to add here to the expansion are what's called law cards. And the law cards are really, really cool. The way they work is you actually are going to play 3 as the sheriff changes hands. And then the sheriff is going to discuss with the rest of the merchants which 3 of the laws are going to be available to use. And then after doing some investigating, maybe some bribing, who knows, you're going to remove one of the laws and the other 2 are going to stay in effect for the duration of the time that that player is sheriff. And then when the sheriff changes, the whole process will begin again. Now, in this case, these 2 laws would be chickens, outlawed, bread, outlawed. So very easy. Both chickens and bread, for the duration of this sheriff's turn, are considered contraband. So if you have a handful of bread and a handful of chickens, then you basically have a mouthful of lies because there's no way that you're going to get in without telling a story. And I think that's great because it encourages people to lie within the game space, right? And that makes the game more fun for everybody. Because maybe if somebody tells a little lie one time, they'll tell a little lie again. And that just makes the game better. So that's the expansion, guys. Really excited about it. Go out and get your hands on it. It retails for $24.99. Arcane Wonders. I'm gonna leave it to these guys. I'm out of here. Thank you.
Jerome. You're awesome, man. All of these expansions that he mentioned, all these different rules, they're all are mix and match. You could play with one item or another. You could play with 6 players and have the 2 deputies, or you could choose, oh, I don't want to do that, I just want to do the laws, or I don't want to do that, I just want to do the secret orders, things like that. So you can mix and match whatever you want. You can use all of them at once, and it's a lot of value for the money because for $25 you're essentially getting like 5 different ways to play sheriff, and you can use all 5 at once. It's really good extra value for the game and all the materials you're getting.
So is there going to be a deluxe edition?
We are working with Cool Mini on that, and we've had some talks about it, and it will still be a while before that would come out, quite a while probably, but yes, we're definitely very excited about doing a deluxe edition.
I like
with
that
metal
idea.
Coins, and
Metal
leather
coin.
bags and things like that.
And sheriff minis, deputy minis. That sounds cool. All right, so let's get a virus.
Okay, you want to go see Viral? Or
Let's do this before we get up and move the
Sure.
camera. So we have
Mage Wars has another expansion out. It just came out. It's the Warlord expansion for Academy. So the Warlord's really cool. He's a high elf warlord. He commands troops and soldiers. His specialty is battle plans, like formations. So he'll arrange his soldiers in a formation. It's a card that you play. That formation will give them particular bonuses, and if he wants to, he can change formations on the fly. We came up with an innovative mechanic where he can actually like just swap formations and say, all right, everyone in a ready to fire stance, or everyone in a charge stance, or everyone's in a defense stance, or defend the mage stance. And it works really, really well. All the cards are completely compatible, of course, with Arena too, so that if anyone that's enjoying Mage Wars on whichever level, Academy or Arena, can use these cards to augment their game.
Okay. Warlord's fun. It's one of my son's favorite mages, actually. Right after the Force Master, I believe.
The Force Master just came out. This is the new Force Master. She's got an Egyptian flavor flare that came out.
And I can't say any of the card names.
We have a story guy. His name is Dr. Thomas Allen. He's written a lot of the Mage Wars history and story, and he actually names a lot of the cards and mechanics, including her Egyptian world, which is Desert Tech.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, good with that. Good luck with that one.
Yeah, good luck with that. So, okay, before we go to Viral, because Viral's here, and before we get up, let's talk about the rest of the year.
Okay.
So, after Gen Con is all said and done, what are the plans for October, November, and December?
Okay, so we have Viral. Maybe I should just grab a copy of that real quick. But anyways, it's a new game that we're showing here at Gen Con, and just like Sheriff, it'll be available pretty much immediately after the show for general retail sales. Viral is a game about invading the human body. Each player is a virus trying to cause as much damage in the human body as possible. It's like an area control game, and competing with other players who are viruses too. I might try to trigger the immune system to go after a certain part of the body. So it's really fun. I'm just going to grab a box cover real quick.
Okay.
If that's not going to distract too much.
Nah.
Okay, sorry for the interruption there, Matt. Thank you.
That's okay.
So this is Viral. It's pretty cool. All right, so we have more stuff going on with Mage Wars. We have 4 more mages. They're in development right now. They are almost done. We have an Asian-style monk. She is awesome. She's got all these cool moves. It's new mechanics that we've introduced to the game that we've never had before, where she can do multiple attacks with all sorts of things like, flying dragon strike and leaping tiger claw, and she's got every oriental weapon you've probably ever thought of. We've flavored them up a little bit.
I've thought of them all.
Cool. Okay, so we got her. We also have a new necromancer. He's also from Desert Tech, so he's going to have an Egyptian flair. He's going to be dealing with a lot of mummies and scarab beetles and wicked spirits of ancient pharaohs.
Now, are these going to be Academy first, or are they going right to Arena?
They are actually all going to be Academy. That way they're 100% compatible with both games. So when we design these, we actually are thinking of the Arena players as well. We want to make sure the mechanics work well, and a lot of times during development, we get pushback from some of our senior Arena players who are like, oh man, if you combine it with this card, it's not going to work so good. So we have to actually tweak it, even though it works perfect in Academy. We want to make sure it works well in Arena too, so you can take the cards with you. So, also, we have a giant robot combat game that we are showing here as like a little preview. It's called Critical Mass. It's a very quick playing card game.
Where's that?
It's actually, he just left. Our demo guy just left. Okay. But the designer is Kevin Chang, and he is running demos here at Gen Con like 3 hours a day. Anyways, it's a very fast-paced card game where I choose what I want to do, you choose what you want to do, we play the cards at the same time and reveal them. A little bit of rock, scissors, paper in there, but it's some very cool options. You have all sorts of amazing weapons that do all sorts of things like lasers, and you can augment them to do better targeting. You've got missiles, you've got flamethrowers, we got freeze rays that will freeze other bots so we can't do any kind of dodge maneuver next turn. Lots of cool stuff going on. So that's going to be hopefully out by Christmas time.
Cool.
And we have a bunch of other cool stuff coming up in the the future after that.
That
but
is
I
not
should
good.
probably talk about all that. Yeah.
Probably not. I mean, I've known about the monk for a long time, and I was supposed to help on it, but life got in the way. So, you know,
We have a jungle druid too. He's really cool.
I'm not into jungle.
You guys
druid.
like the Black Panther from Marvel Comics?
Oh yeah.
Okay, well this has nothing to do with him, but it's really cool.
But he's inspired.
Maybe. But anyways, he's really cool. You guys will love him. He's great. He works with plants, and he's got like a voodoo style type mechanics where he's making potions to augment himself or hurt his enemies. And he's also got some cool jungle animals and stuff.
Oh, so
too.
he's kind of like an alchemist.
Yep. There you go. And we got plans for an alchemist down the road. That's always been.
So
in the
he's a
back pocket.
pseudo alchemist.
Sure, but you know, he's strong, frontline fighter, works with the plants. He's got 2 vine whips that he can wrap around people and tangle them, and he's got some great mechanics going on.
All right. So what's the 3-sectional staff do for the monk?
She actually doesn't have that one, but she does have her hair.
That's why I didn't work on her, so she doesn't have
that's
it.
good. If she should have that. She does have the nunchucks, of course, and a bow staff and size. And
What about a whip chain?
She has her hair is braided in this long braid. It's like 3 or 4 feet long, and on the end of it, it's got these metal spikes, and she can like do her head around like this and just hit enemies and whip them with it. And it's like a little cool extra feature we built in, so she always has a weapon at hand, even if she gets disarmed.
So
she got her hair.
Did you guys dabble into chi at all with her? Or?
Actually, she has her central core mechanic is chi. She gets a certain amount of chi each round, but she can gain more through meditation, and then she can apply it into her techniques. If she is going to strike an enemy, she can study them, and then the cards like an enchantment she'll put on them. It's like she's targeting them. She can put a little chi into that and make sure that the attack that goes off is going to be much more effective. All of her weapons actually can use chi, so anyone can use one of her weapons, but if you're the monk, you'll be able to channel chi into it, which is a special type of mana just for her, essentially. Right. And she can do some really powerful things with that.
See, I agree with that.
You like that? I know you're into Oriental stuff. I probably should have.
We were going to, but like I stopped communicating with Tony about it.
Okay.
So that was 2 years ago.
Well, you know what? We're still developing it. Why don't you take a good look after the show? Tell me what you think. Let's get some of your ideas in there.
Okay. I like that idea. I like that. It's not that I'm into it. It's like I started Shaolin Kung Fu at 14.
Oh, wow.
Shaolin system as a whole. I mean, that's very broad. For anybody who knows anything about the martial arts, it's Shaolin systems like, north, south, east, west. I mean, there's so many different variations. That it's just I fell in love with it. At 15, I was teaching. So I've got in college, my degree's in theology. I had friends. They would introduce me to other friends. This is Matt. He's a theology major. He's forgotten more about killing than he's learned about theology. And that's how I was introduced to people. So I'm like, just grin. And you'd see, going to a Christian school and you see people, hi.
Don't hurt me.
Yeah, so you want to look at viral or?
Sure. We could just pop in on these guys. We have 2 doctors here.
Yeah, give them the run through, and I'll keep this filming.
All right. So this is viral. It is a area management or area control game, whatever you want to do about it. So it is a game where you are a virus and you are trying to gain the most viral points, and the tracker goes right here. And the whole basis of the game is you're a virus and you're trying to control these sections. So there's the brain, the hearts, the lungs, the liver and pancreas, there's the stomach region, and then there's the kidneys. To control a section, you need at least 1 guy for the brain, but for the hearts, you need 1 guy in each. And this is a player v board game, because the board can actually hurt you at later steps. And for step 1 on how you're going to play is you are going to pick a zone card and an action card. And you're going to do this twice, but first you're just going to pick them. And then, since this is blue, this is using the blue card, so you can only attack or make a virus at zone 5, and then the black you can just do wherever on the board you want. And what you'll do is you'll place it face down. First player will reveal, do it, and you'll do that twice. And after you do that twice, they'll go on top of your board, and they'll have to wait until the end of the next round, and then you'll pick it back up. So there's a strategy aspect of what you're playing first. And then we move to stage 2 of the first turn. Then it's scoring. To score, you see if there's one of each in there, and then it's whoever has one of each in each organ, and then the most. And there's a tie tracker here to help. So for this one, yellow would just get 1 point, and you'd get no research. But for here, he would get 1 more, but he would get -1. But since he doesn't have any, he wouldn't move. But here, he would gain 1, but he would also gain research. And then once you hit 4, 8, 12, and 16, you gain a card. Once you hit 21, all of these flip over, so they get better. So this one, instead of a 3 and 3, it's a 4 and 3 now. Once you hit 21. At stage 1 also, there's a chart here. So for 2 and 3 players, if there's ever 3 viruses in the same organ, not zone, you get a crisis token. Or if there is 4 for like a 4 player, at step 4, everybody's going to be removed unless you have a shield token. And then you just get flipped down, and they'll just get removed, and you'll get 2 victory points and 1 victory points. But after scoring, you just do the cards, then you do crisis, and remove those tokens, and remove everybody that was there. And then you'll move on to 5. So let's say yellow was at all the way at the top. So if you're at the top, and let's say there's some yellow on the board and some purple. If I had none that were shielded, I would put that to the bottom, and every single one of my yellow would get removed, because the scientists have figured out what my virus is. And then I get reset, and then we go to step 6, which is the tiebreaker. We redo who's the tiebreaker. The tiebreaker is known by whoever's in last place goes to the top, so it would be yellow, and then it would be orange, then green, then purple. And that's how you would do that, and you would absorb anybody, and then you would reset to number 1, and after you did that, you would pull that off, and there will be 6 of those cards, so that's how you know how many rounds there is, and that's it.
Wow. Sweet. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
And the zone, an action card and a zone card.